Welcome to the Eat This Book podcast. I'm Michael Whitworth. Each day we take a small piece of scripture and we sit with it. Not a quick snack that disappears before lunch, not a chore you check off of a list, but rather a meal meant to be savored. So pull up a chair. Let's eat. The meal is over. The brothers have eaten, drunk, been merry. Benjamin received 5 times the portion of anyone else, and no one complained. The celebration ended in peace. Now it's morning. The brothers load their donkeys with grain. They set out for Canaan, relieved. The harsh Egyptian governor treated them well. Simeon is free. Benjamin is safe. The nightmare seems to be ending. They don't know Joseph has set one final test. Before they left, Joseph gave his steward instructions. Fill their sacks with grain. Return each man's money, and put my silver cup, my divining cup, in the sack of the youngest. The brothers are barely out of the city when the steward overtakes them. Why have you repaid evil for good? Why have you stolen the cup my master uses for divination? The brothers are indignant. Steal? We brought back the money we found in our sacks the first time. Why would we steal silver or gold from your master's house? Search us. Whoever has the cup, let him die. The rest of us will be your slaves. They're confident. They know they didn't steal anything. This will be cleared up in moments. The steward searches. He starts with the oldest and works his way down. Reuben's sack, nothing. Simeon's, nothing. Levi, Judah, the others, nothing. Each sack opened, each sack clean. Then Benjamin's. The cup is there. The brothers tear their clothes. They reload their donkeys and return to the city. The confidence is gone. The celebration is over. Whatever is happening, it's beyond their understanding. They fall before Joseph. He's waiting for them. What is this you have done? Did you not know that a man like me can practice divination? Judah speaks. What can we say? How can we clear ourselves? God has found out the guilt of your servants. We are all your slaves, both we and he in whose hand the cup was found. This is remarkable. Judah doesn't protest Benjamin's innocence. He doesn't say, we don't know how the cup got there. He says God has found out our guilt. He's not talking about the cup. He's talking about Joseph, the brother they sold, the sin they buried, the guilt that surfaced when they first stood in this Egyptian court. The cup is just the occasion. The guilt goes back 20 years. Joseph refuses the offer. Only the man in whose hand the cup was found shall be my slave. The rest of you go in peace to your father. And this is the test. Joseph is giving them exactly what they wanted 20 years ago, a way to get rid of the favorite son. Benjamin can stay in Egypt as a slave, and they can go home free. Their father will grieve, but they can invent a story. They're good at that. The blood-soaked coat worked once. They can figure something else out. Will they abandon Rachel's son again? Judah steps forward. What follows is the longest speech by any character in Genesis. 44 chapters of narrative, and no one has spoken this many words at once. The text is telling us something. This matters. This is the hinge. Judah doesn't argue innocence. He doesn't negotiate terms, but instead he tells a story. He tells Joseph about their father, the old man back in Canaan who has already lost one son and cannot bear to lose another. He tells him how their father clung to Benjamin, how he refused to let him come, how Judah himself became surety for the boy's safe return. He tells him what will happen if they come home without Benjamin. Their father will die. His gray hairs will go down to Sheol in sorrow. And then Judah makes his offer. Let me remain instead of the boy as a slave to my Lord. Let the boy go back with his brothers. How can I go back to my father if the boy is not with me? I cannot watch the suffering that would come upon my father. In his place, Judah offers to take Benjamin's place. This is the moment Joseph has been waiting for. Not revenge, not confession, this. He needed to know if they had changed. He needed to see whether they would protect Rachel's son or abandon him the way they abandoned Rachel's other son. He needed to know if the men who sold him into slavery were still those men or if something had shifted. And now he knows. Judah, the one who suggested selling Joseph for profit, is offering his own freedom to save Benjamin. The man who once traded a brother for silver is now trading himself for a brother. The transformation is complete. The brothers have passed the test. Here's, I think, what we should savor from this passage. First, substitution is the shape of sacrificial love. Judah didn't say, let's negotiate. He didn't say, we'll appeal to a higher court. He said, take me instead, in his place. This is what love looks like when it costs something. Everyone steps forward and says, put it on me. Let him go free. The Bible will return to this shape again and again. A ram caught in a thicket while Isaac walks away, a suffering servant bearing the iniquity of us all, a man on a cross taking what we deserve so we could receive what he deserved. Substitution runs through Scripture like a scarlet thread, and here in Genesis 44, Judah weaves it into the story for the first time. If you've ever had someone step into your place, take the blame, absorb the cost, shield you from consequences you deserved, you've tasted what Judah did for Benjamin. And if you've ever stepped into someone else's place, spoken up when you could have stayed silent, sacrificed when you could have walked away, you know what it costs. Second, sometimes the test isn't about proving innocence. Judah didn't argue that Benjamin was framed. He accepted the situation as it was and asked, what now? The cup was in the sack. The accusation stood. The question wasn't, how did this happen, but what will we do about it? Sometimes you can't explain your way out. Sometimes you just have to decide what kind of person you're going to be in circumstances you didn't choose. If you're facing something you can't argue your way past, if the facts are what they are, however they got that way, this passage invites you to stop explaining and start acting. Judah didn't waste words on protests. He offered himself. Third, transformation doesn't require an audience. We never saw Judah's turning point. Somewhere between selling Joseph and standing in this court, he became someone different. The text doesn't narrate the change, only the fruit. Judah stepped forward. Judah offered his life. Judah passed a test he would have failed 20 years earlier. If you're in the middle of becoming someone different, if the change is slow, invisible, happening in decisions no one sees, this passage says keep going. The moment will come when who you've become will matter more than who you were. Judah's transformation wasn't witnessed, it was revealed. And when the test came, he was ready. And fourth, some people are waiting to see if you've changed. Joseph watched, he tested, he needed evidence that the brothers weren't who they used to be. Sometimes the people we've hurt need to see fruit before they trust us again. That's not unfair, it's wisdom. Words are easy. Judah didn't just say he'd changed, he proved it by offering his freedom for Benjamin's. If you've broken trust with someone and they're slow to believe you've changed, this passage says be patient. Keep showing up. Let your actions accumulate. The test will come, maybe when you least expect it, and your response will reveal what's real. Judah didn't know he was being tested. He just did the right thing. And Joseph saw. If you've ever wondered whether change is possible, whether the person you were has to be the person you'll always be, this passage says no. Judah proves it. The man who sold his brother became the man who saved his brother. The distance between those two men is the distance grace can travel. If you're holding back from someone because of who they used to be, if you can't imagine them being different, this passage invites you to watch for evidence. Not to be naive, not to trust words alone, but to leave room for the possibility that people can become what they weren't. Judah did. And if you're the one who needs to step forward, if someone you love is in trouble and you could walk away, this passage asks, what will you do? The brothers could have gone home without Benjamin. They could have told Jacob another lie. Instead, Judah offered himself in his place. That's the shape of love when it's real. Next time on Eat This Book, the test is over, and Joseph can't hold it in anymore. The room clears, the tears fall, and 3 words change everything. I am Joseph. Join me in Genesis 45 as betrayal meets forgiveness, and we discover how God was working the whole time. Thanks for eating with me. Until next time, may the Word dwell in you richly.